Hello YouTube! Today this video is going to be about removing the modesty panel off a What Katie Did Morticia. I'm wearing mine at the moment and it's something that's pretty easy to do, so if you want to see how to do that then just carry on watching. I would also like to say it is so much easier to order it without a modesty panel in the first place. So if you know you don't like modesty panels, then go onto the Modesty website and I'm pretty sure there's a comments box when you order and just type in no modesty panel or go through the do-it-yourself options and obviously pick the shapes you want and the materials and blah blah blah, and then in the comment section there write no modesty panel, because obviously it's easier for them to make it without a modesty panel than having to alter it yourself. But if you do have a corset and you suddenly decide that you can't be bothered having the modesty panel, then I hope this video will help you and give you some tips on how to remove it yourself. So just carry on watching for that. I would also like to say that on my previous modesty panel removal video on the mesh corset, What Katie Did actually got back to me, or they commented on the video and they said that they believed that corset was from their old stock, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, and they did offer to replace the corset if I sent it back to them. I replied that that was a very, very generous offer, but as it only took me a couple of hours to fix it myself and it really wasn't any bother to me, then I didn't really want a new one. So here we have my Morticia laying flat, and if we open it up, ooh, there we can see the modesty panel and the lacing and all of that jazz. Now if you remember, or if you watched my video on the mesh Morticia, you would see that the way that modesty panel worked is on the lacing panel here, it came out this way and then you'd flip it over to become the modesty panel, because it wouldn't create much bulk along here to be uncomfortable or anything like that. But on this one you can't, because of the construction as well, you can't have it come round this way and then that way, because it would create far too much bulk. So instead it's connected to this seam here. Now theoretically you might be able to unpick this and yank it out, but I'm not sure, to be honest, on how that would affect construction, considering instead of unpicking it and seeing how it's constructed, which I don't want to really fanny around doing, we're just going to do a very simple fix. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay it flat across the eyelets here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it back in line with the very edge of the eyelet panel. So if I lift this up, you'll see the eyelet panel is there and the edge is lined up with this edge here. Now it's going to be a very simple fix. If I just find my pins a minute. There we go. And we're just going to pin this very roughly. There we go. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this around so it's easier for me. We're going to, making sure we keep the laces out of the way, and we pull it back out of the way the laces here. We're just going to snip. So there we have our modesty panel cut off, and it's quite interesting to see how it's made of. The satin is relatively thin. I thought it would have been slightly thicker, but oh well, there is. So there we have our little nubbin of a modesty panel. Now the way I'm going to do this is I am going to fold it in on itself like this on either side and just do a top stitch. However, if If I do that, it will make it slightly bulky, because we've already got bones there. It might end up quite uncomfortable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this middle layer here, just to get rid of some of the bulk that might appear. I am sorry for the beeping if you can hear that from outside. I have no idea what it is. So now we have the middle layer cut out, so we only have 2 layers left. Now all we're going to do is fold this bit in. So there we have it all pinned and ready to go. And it's just about out of the way of the laces, but I'm sure that won't really matter horrendously. So I'm just going to take this over to my sewing machine and give it a quick stitch. And here is the finished product. It's not the neatest thing in the world, and later I will go and whip stitch these ends where I've taken the bulky stitching that was already there out, because they're fraying slightly, and I'll put a bit of fray stop on them as well. But apart from that, it's very, very, very easy fix. It's not something I would obviously recommend. I would recommend that if you're ordering a corset from What Katie Did, that you get the option that has no modesty panel, and obviously stick with that if you're not a big fan of modesty panels. But if you have bought a corset with a modesty panel and you want some way of getting rid of it, then that is an easy fix. You could obviously take it down a bit smaller and only make it a centimetre maybe wide, but it would get quite fiddly going through the machine. This was fiddly enough going through the machine, making sure everything was kept out of the way and wasn't going to fly off or anything. I hope you found it useful, and if you ever want to take a modesty panel off a corset, then that this video helped you.